All right, TGIF, everybody. So glad you could be with us. It is Friday, November the 30th. We hope everyone had a fantastic Thanksgiving. Hopefully you got in a little bit of shopping today. It is Black Friday, but we do consider it a privilege that you can be here with us on this Friday evening inside our Atlanta News First Plus studios, right in the heart of Atlanta. We have a lot of news to cover, which is typically what you don't see on a holiday, but it is a busy day. And one of the biggest story that we're following tonight, this one, this is a heartbreaker. The daylight damage is showing what we brought to you last night as breaking news. Man, I just hate to see this. Daylight revealing gut-wrenching damage. This historic church in downtown Beaufort is destroyed. Gwinnett County Fire and Emergency Services says the church is a total loss and that firefighters initially responded to reports of smoke just coming from the roof of the First Pentecostal Church of Beaufort. It happened last night around 10 p.m. Was hoping that it was just smoke. However, when crews arrived, they reported not only seeing the smoke coming from a vent hole on the top of the sanctuary, but they were forced to evacuate the building after discovering there was an actual fire in the attic above the sanctuary. Eventually, that part of the building collapsed. You see this right here. There's nothing left. The roof over this entire beautiful historic church has collapsed. Investigators do not suspect criminal activity, but have not ruled out an electrical source as the cause of the blaze. Atlanta News First, Yasmina Alston has more.
There's a lot of sadness, but there's no fear in us over what's to come. God's going to take care of our church.
Pastor Jordan Copeland, his faith strong, even as he watched fire crews work on his First Pentecostal Church of Beaufort after a massive Thanksgiving fire.
Thankfully, no one was hurt. That's the biggest part of it. But it is just the memories of that place and how many turnarounds we saw there.
His parishioners joined him in the parking lot Friday afternoon, witnessing the smoky aftermath of the church in downtown Beaufort, built in the 1930s.
I'm heartbroken. This was one of my favorite places to be. I like to be here every Sunday, and to see it gone, a place that means so much to me.
Cheval Yoakum was one of those parishioners still in disbelief. According to Gwinnett County Fire and Emergency Services, the smoke began coming from a vent hole at the top of the sanctuary of the three-story church. The fire was then found in the attic.
When the steeple disappeared into the roof, people was screaming and crying, and just hard thing, very hard thing to see.
For Copeland, the destruction is especially difficult. His father, who passed last year, was the church's previous pastor, and this fire is something Copeland says would have been hard for his father to see.
Everything we had from him was in that building. His pulpit, his Bibles that he gave me, his preaching notes.
Copeland says 2 local churches have already offered their space for Sunday service, and they'll update parishioners on social media to confirm a location.
I think everybody here is pretty close-knit, and we're all one big family. And so to be together and to have that community is really important in times like this.
Meanwhile, fire investigators say the cause is still being investigated, and they did not suspect criminal activity. In Beaufort, Yasmina Alston, Atlanta News First.
We also have an update on a story that we have been following for the last few days. This involves a teen mother accused of trying to bury her dead newborn, facing new charges tonight. 17-year-old Leticia Rodriguez was arrested at her home last Friday in Marietta after officers found her digging a hole in her own backyard 6 hours after giving birth to a little boy. Rodriguez right now is being accused of trying to bury her newborn son. She's now charged with felony murder, concealing a death, abuse of a dead body, abandonment of a dead body, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The case has now been turned over to the Cobb County District Attorney's Office. This is a story we're going to continue to follow both on Atlanta News First at 11 and Peachtree TV at 11. Well, as I mentioned, we have made it through Thanksgiving. It is Friday and Black Friday. For so many retailers, they are banking on this day to energize their shoppers. It is the unofficial kickoff of the holiday season. But because of online retailers, it has started to lose some of its luster, but not here at this Best Buy. The line long. Appliances and TVs and all that electronics still will get people to come out early in the morning and wait in 45 to 50-degree weather to try to get a deal. But despite pushing these early deals and facing, as I mentioned, the increasing threat from online merchants, it's been tough for merchants, and they are hoping that shoppers will come out and pull money out of their pockets and put it to good use. Atlanta News First investigator Anastasia Olmos has more.
Many people think that just because it's Black Friday weekend or Cyber Monday that they're going to see the best deals of the year. And while that's true for some stores, other stores may be getting a little savvy with their advertising sales. So here's how you can make sure that you're saving money while holiday shopping. First, compare prices. If you're shopping in store, do a quick Google search of the item on your phone to see what other retailers are listing it for. If you're shopping online, add items you want to buy to your shopping cart and watch the prices for a few days. On some retail websites, you can save for later and monitor if that Cyber Monday deal is actually cheaper or simply listed at a higher price with a percentage off to make it look like a deal. Second, check the reviews. If something is 50% off, but the reviews say it arrived damaged or breaks easily, that's possibly why the sale is so steep. Third, look for extra discounts. While in line, check the store's website for any additional coupons. If you're online, check for promo codes. Retail Me Not is one website you can check for any possible codes. They might work, they might not, but it's worth a try. If you're on Google Chrome, you can download an extension like Honey, which will do that promo code search for you and can even give you price history to see if the item is actually cheaper. Fourth, don't stop looking. Even after purchasing an item, if you find it cheaper at another store, some retailers will price match. For example, Target is offering a price adjustment for any items bought from November 7th to Christmas Eve. Fifth, using credit cards with rewards such as cashback or airline points can add an extra savings on top of that store sale. And before you head out to the stores or start scrolling, make a list of who you're shopping for and what you might want to get them. That way you don't end up overspending, distracted by all the shiny sale signs. I'm Anastasia Olmos, Atlanta News First investigates.
Well, I hope that got you in the mood for getting ready to get your Christmas decorations out, I'm sure. This is the world's busiest airport. One of the busiest travel seasons of the year is happening now. Folks will start returning back to their locations for the work week on Monday, Saturday, Sunday, some even early Monday morning. But it has been a roller coaster of weather. We are closely monitoring flights going in and out of the airport. We're going to keep you posted if there's going to be any problems with the weather. We do have some weather of concern, but it's more of a hiccup than it is for flight delays. And Cutter Martin is joining us in the First Alert Forecast Center, which is also the Plus Center. We do everything over here. We're multifaceted. We have seen a roller coaster of weather. It has gone from the 60s one day.
In fact, the other night, we actually warmed up overnight. Talk about topsy-turvy. It was like 70 almost out the door Thanksgiving morning. And then by the end of the day, it was in the 40s.
Yeah, I had my furnace on, and then I got a little too warm. But it's back cold, and it's you're closely watching a First Alert.
Yeah.
Is it going to impact the travel that's coming back into Atlanta or departing?
For us, I would say no. But if you have any of the northeast hubs in mind, I-95 corridor, if you have travel plans to maybe Cleveland, Ohio, maybe portions of the upper Midwest, we just get the cold. They get the cold and the snow. So Sean definitely could impact some regional travel. But for us, it is just plain old cold in the First Alert forecast. But still, as Sean was talking about, a lot of weather to track here over the next couple of days, all in regards, to the temperature. So definitely we are going to be watching these changes. We don't really get a chance to warm up all that much before the next blast of cold air, but we will try to Sunday, and then by the time we get to Monday, we are talking about even colder weather back in the First Alert forecast. So again, thank you for tuning in and for watching. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Cutter Martin. I want to remind you, if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, you can do one of two things. Visit two places. One is on YouTube, Atlanta News First. We're streaming right now. In fact, I'm going to pull up that stream. We have some folks watching. Doesn't look like we have any questions, but that is one place that you can ask your question. Just type it into the YouTube stream, maybe pull it up on your smartphone. Get that double watch. If you're watching on Roku, you can pull up your smartphone and the YouTube app, or you can just simply text us, 470-777-WANF for 9263, and we will answer your questions right here, and also go back and check that thread even after the stream wraps up, just in case I missed anything, or maybe you catch the tail end of the stream and you don't get your question in until after I'm hitting that stop button. So going to go ahead and dive into the forecast. It is cold and getting colder outside. Temperatures, many areas, already back into the 30s. In fact, here is a current look at temperatures right now. It is a freezing one, literally, in LJ. Temperature down to 32. Down to 39 in Rome, 39 Covington, 38 in Gainesville, 34 in Helen, 40 at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, 41 in Athens. Of course, the game, Georgia Tech at Georgia, playing in Athens, and the kickoff time, 7:30, time now 8:10, still quite a bit of the game left to go. And the majority of the game will be in the 30s. Certainly by that final quarter, we will be back in the 30s. Light breeze making it feel even colder. Have some friends that were tailgating there, and they were saying it was chilly for any of those tailgating festivities. Unfortunately, we just lost some of this data. Notice Canton, Carrollton, LaGrange, Griffin, Thomaston not reporting. Just dropped off the map. May have a data issue, likely not on our part, but I'll check in on that. But just know that most of those areas are too in the mid to upper 30s as temperatures continue to really tumble this evening. I mean, we're cooling very, very quickly across North Georgia, even the city of Atlanta. So do keep that in mind. This is just really starting to cool down. We're going to continue to cool. And out the door tomorrow morning, we will be even colder than now by, 5-10 degrees or so. Hour by hour forecast. Forecast is holding pretty well with what we're actually seeing. Gives confidence in the fact that, the forecast is likely to play out as forecast, and out the door tomorrow morning. Temperatures will continue to cool overnight tonight, and we will bottom out about, 7:30 or so. 30 Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. That is the forecast low, and that would be the first official freeze for the airport since last winter. We've gotten down to the mid to upper 30s a few times, but we have not recorded a freeze yet at Hartsfield-Jackson. Many other areas have, though. If you're outside of I-285, just about all of our suburb communities, Jonesboro, Peachtree City, Fayetteville, up to the west side, Douglasville, Marietta, Cartersville, Alpharetta, certainly up and coming, Beaufort as well, Lawrenceville, even Conyers, Covington. Many of those spots have already been 32 or colder, recording that first official freeze. But for Atlanta, not the case, and we're looking at mid-20s outside of the city, mid to upper 20s. Most will see a hard freeze tomorrow morning, light freeze, warmer than 28 in the core of the city. We do warm up tomorrow, but still going to be a chilly day. Noon Sunday, going out for brunch, maybe after the Georgia Tech-Georgia game. Day after brunch tomorrow in Athens. It's going to be cold. Noon temperatures still in the upper 40s. Mid to upper 40s for the city of Atlanta as well. Temperatures will peak, in that 3 o'clock hour most likely, perhaps as early as 2:45 or so, as late as 3:45 or 4 p.m. Back in the upper 40s and lower 50s. Now, mountains will be cooler. Staying in the mid to upper 40s there. So Blairsville, LJ, Blue Ridge, Clayton up in Raven County, any of our communities in Clay County, North Carolina, like Hayesville, mid 40s. That's as warm as it gets. It's going to be chilly, and that breeze will make it feel even chillier. And then tomorrow night we start to cool once again. 7 p.m. back in the mid 40s. Here we are, 8 p.m. on Sunday night, 30s and 40s. Out the door Monday morning. And again, Sunday, see these clouds moving through as we get into the evening. No rain or snow or anything like that with this passing weather system, but we do have more cold air on the way. That's actually a second cold front in the first alert forecast. Monday is a first alert weather day, as Shon Gables was just mentioning, as a second blast. An even colder round of air is in the first alert forecast. So notice Sunday morning, most of us were in the lower 30s, some mid 30s, some upper 20s. But by the time we get to Monday morning, 7 a.m., and keep in mind, this is when students are going back to school, most of us are going to be even colder than that. Again, here we are Sunday morning. Some of these clouds ahead of that front streaming in, 20s and lower 30s, right around freezing in Atlanta once again. We're going to briefly manage the lower 50s, many of us. So again, mountains mid to upper 40s Sunday afternoon. Some of the vast majority of the holiday weekend spent in the 40s, North Metro and mountains. City on southward afternoons, briefly lower 50s. Perhaps some mid-50s in LaGrange and Thomaston and Covington as we get into Sunday afternoon. But, again, chilly regardless. Now, as we get into Sunday evening, again, here's as that colder air starts to filter in. Already down to 37 in Blairsville, 46 in Atlanta, 42 LaGrange. And from there, we will continue to cool. So that by the time we get to Monday morning, we're waking up to temperatures, even in Atlanta, in the 20s. Again, it is going to be a freezing start to the work week. Make sure your students have their winter coats. Maybe get that Christmas gift for them a little early, just a hint here, right? If they need the new coat, now's the time to get it this weekend because it is going to be very, very cold to start the new work week. Temperatures mid to upper 20s. That's across the metro. We will have some lower 20s in there Monday morning, even colder Tuesday morning. But we're highlighting Monday, first alert weather day, as the kind of first day of change, this first kind of shock to the system, and then we're settling into that pattern. Monday is the change of wardrobe. Monday is it's even colder sort of day. And then it sticks around into Tuesday before we start to warm back up. But again, Monday, Tuesday mornings, widespread hard freezes. City of Atlanta could record its first hard freeze. By definition, 28 degrees or colder for at least a couple hours on Tuesday morning. And then we do start to warm back up, mid-50s Wednesday, 60 rather on Thursday afternoon. Slight chance of rain, looking mostly dry, but that is our next front moving through. Believe it or not, this busy weather pattern continues across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. In fact, this is the AtlantaNewsFirst.com homepage. If you click on First Alert Weather, you'll see the forecast video. That's uploaded from the app earlier. We did not have an early evening newscast, so we do have a forecast clipped and put online from the update in the app. And as we scroll down here on the page, again, you have your current conditions, and you notice hourly, 3-day, and click on 10-day. You can get the same forecast on the go if you don't like desktop. If you have the smartphone, First Alert Weather app, of course, that's probably your go-to choice for online weather. But same forecast here again for Atlanta. We're going to continue to cool back down next Friday. That's December 6th, 55. 55 the following day, 50, struggling to get to 50 the following Sunday. That's, again, our next round of colder air, and I will say some data is even colder than that. So we might, 7, 8, 9, 10 days out from now probably will be adjusting that forecast a little bit colder as we get closer to, day of, and, of course, tighter in, closer in to that next front as confidence and data just gets better. We get more confident in the setup, what's actually happening versus what some of these silly computer model runs that you may see online tend to show, but still very confident in yet another front as we get into the end of the coming work week. Didn't have any questions come in. Pretty quiet on the feeds this evening. No surprise, it's Black Friday. You're snacking. You're watching football. Probably watching the Georgia Tech-Georgia game and just having a good time. And thankfully, it is just the cold that we're tracking this weekend. Maybe uncomfortable for some of those outdoor plans, especially the evenings, and downright freezing by Monday. So we just wanted to give you that first alert weather day, let you know that yet another blast of cold air is on the way. And still, get outside, enjoy your evening, bundle up on this Black Friday. We'll have your Christmas lights looking and putting up forecast at 10 p.m. on Peachtree TV, Atlanta CW. Also, the Magic of Lights forecast. Remember, that goes through Christmas every night. We'll have your forecast for that as well, and about to record a video. Also put it in the First Alert Weather app in case you need that second check. We'll have that there momentarily. Again, enjoy your evening. Have a wonderful holiday weekend, and bundle up.